Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and shalom to the hope elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Radah. I want to maybe do a series. I want to call it White Enchantments, of course, talking about the Edomites, the so-called white man. But I want to go into this. I was watching this brother's, it's a very long video. But I want to land back. Let me see. I want to land back off of this and show you. I want to land back off of this TikTok that he does. The brother from Arrows. I'm going to believe it's, let me see. Yeah, arrows of...
Obviously, America was founded in a very multicultural way.
Arrows of Indignation 1442. It's a GMS brother. But check this out, man.
America wasn't founded by grabbing a bunch of dudes from other countries, bringing them here, giving them free apartments and welfare. It was by people who wanted to escape religious persecution, and they started building things, not just coming here getting handouts. I mean, I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of people. And as soon as the truth is told and you don't like it, you say racist.
Let's talk about the truth here, Piers. I got to jump in here. When we talk about the founding of America, it was founded by European colonizers, built on the backs of enslaved Africans and on the genocide of indigenous people. To claim that it wasn't,
And those were both Northern and Southern Kingdom Hebrew Israelites. The Latinos and Native Americans are Hebrew Israelites. That's documented in the second chapter of the second book of Second Ezra, chapter 13. Also, we can see the migration patterns of King Solomon and his navy that mentions time frame wise coming to this side of the earth. The fourth part of the earth and the ends of the earth is mentioned all throughout the Hebrew prophecies, talking about the northern kingdom or the northern country, talking about North America, Mystery Babylon.
Yeah, it literally was the Homestead Act.
And the African Americans are the southern kingdom, the tribe of Judah, fulfilling the prophecy that Ephraim and Judah, or Israel and Judah, were oppressed together, and all that held them captive refused to let them go. It's talking about the northern and southern kingdom.
Which was finally repealed in 1987, gave hundreds of millions of acres of free land to white European immigrants while denying them to the descendants of enslaved Africans. And so even to this day, the single demographic, the largest demographic on public welfare are white Americans. But there is no accountability and restitution or reparations for the enslaved Africans and their descendants who suffered genocide. And we rewrite this history, well, we built it by our bootstraps. No, you didn't. You built it on the backs of enslaved Africans.
The biggest government welfare program isn't food stamps, it isn't SNAP, it isn't Medicare, it isn't Medicaid, it isn't even Social Security. It's free land to white people. It was called the Homestead Act. Come, let's do our homework. What were the Homestead Acts? They were a series of acts from the federal government in the United States meant to encourage settlement.
And the inspiration for this video, if you look, she's got 4 photos. She's got a picture all the way from the left. That's the, oh God, now I'm brain farting it. All 3 of these movies. Okay, you got Kevin Costner on the right. You have this Edomite lady, I believe she played an angel in the center. And then another movie. And all of these movies, and many like them on TV, were all enchantments of Esau putting this holy, righteous image of what Scripture calls the wicked, of who Scripture calls the border of wickedness, which is Edom. And all of this was skillfully done, not only to entertain you, but to reprogram your mind specifically after this specific race of people, to cause you to think another way about them, and in with the guise or the camouflage of Renaissance Western Christianity being preached all over the earth by these same people.
Of the plains areas and the Wild West, because we all know in Colonialism 101, the first step is to acquire land. The second step is to occupy it. So just because you made the Louisiana Purchase and you officially own all of this land, if your people aren't on it, then how is it really yours? This moment in American history is often romanticized in shows like Little House on the Prairie, Godless, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and of course in favorite films like Dances with Wolves. Now, there were 4 major homestead acts. The first one was the Donation Land Claim Act of 1850. Now, this happened right after the United States got a lot of land from the Mexican-American War. The second one was the Homestead Act of 1862. This was right after the southern states seceded from the Union, and President Lincoln signed this act into law, encouraging people to settle land out west, particularly the Plains states. The Homestead Act of 1862 was responsible for the biggest expansion of settlement in the United States. Then, of course, we had the 40 acres and a mule deal of 1865, which was meant to be reparations. And interestingly enough, this is the only one that did not benefit white people, and it's the only one that was rescinded. Isn't that curious? Then, of course, you have the Southern Homestead Act of 1866. And we'll get into that in a minute. Now, the first one that...
And all those dates are key because what were they doing to our people at the same time they were doing things for their own people? You got to keep all this stuff in mind.
Donation Land Claim Act of 1850. It was meant to encourage people from the eastern United States to head west and settle this parcel of land up here called the Oregon Territory.
And they're always trying to put the blame only on the South. It was only the Southern whites. It was only the Southern Edomites who were bad. No, bro. That's not what the scriptures say. And that's not what prophecy says about Edom. They shall be called the border of wickedness, which means all Edomites are wicked, not just the ones that found their way in the South in America. No, all of them are wicked.
It granted people 320 acres per person. And if you were a couple, it would give you up to 640 acres. It's a huge bit of land. It was offered to white settlers only, specifically. So if you were black or indigenous, you were not involved with this deal at all. And of course, one of the biggest downfalls of this was it encroached on native lands. So even though this territory was officially the United States at this point, nobody was out here. This was just the Wild West. So this was native tribes living their lives. And as white people started moving over from the east out to the west, taking over, encroaching on people that were already living there and didn't care if Spain sold land to the Americas on paper because that was their home. One thing it did allow finally was for women to be landowners, and but it was repealed in 1855. Now, in 1862, we have the Homestead Act. This, interestingly enough, was championed by Andrew Johnson when he was in the Senate. Then he came on to be Lincoln's vice president, and it was signed by Lincoln in 1862. It offered you 160 acres of land, free and clear, if you could improve it. So you had to live on the land, farm it, and stay there, improve it for 5 years. This is covered in Little House on the Prairie. That's what they were doing.
And remember that, because I'm going to show you, once she's done talking, I'm going to pull up, I have some already saved, some movie clips of these shows, and I remember these shows when I was a child, and all they did was put these positive images of who? Of so-called white people in our minds, not realizing what they had done to the Hebrew Israelites. But we didn't know that the African Americans were Hebrew Israelites, and we didn't know that the so-called Latinos, Mexicans, Native Americans were also Hebrew Israelites because they all had been renamed by bywords. This is fucking crazy. Watch. Remember that. Remember the movie right there on the left. I'm going to play it in a little bit.
It encouraged you to move to the Plains states, sort of the middle of the country, and set up farms. It was meant to encourage the poor to middle class individual farm. But of course, most people couldn't even afford to get started because you needed gear, you needed a wagon, you needed horses, you needed a plow, you needed all of this stuff to even work the land and build a home. You needed lumber, you needed stuff, you needed support, infrastructure, and capital to get started. And of course, it became a hotbed for fraud. So all these poor people couldn't bother to get started. They just didn't even know how to approach any of this. It's like being dropped into the wilderness. It's like a game of Survivor. Okay, go. Most people couldn't pull it off. So what happened? Miners, mining companies, lumber companies, railroads came in and took advantage of this deal and set up shop. However, it was the greatest expansion of individual land ownership in this country, and it was mostly taken advantage of by white people. 93 million American citizens are considered direct descendants of homesteaders that are still alive today. That's
It's basically 1/3 of the fucking American population to this day.
almost 1 out of 3 American citizens are a beneficiary of this generational wealth that came from the practice of homesteading. Then, of course, is the 40 acres and a mule deal of 1865. It was never officially an act from Congress because it was rescinded by Andrew Johnson, the exact same guy that championed the Homestead Act of 1862. Suddenly, when it came to giving land to black people, he killed it. Isn't that interesting? He intended to make it a law, but he was assassinated before he could. And it granted small plots of land on seized Confederate plantations here on the south shore of the eastern seaboard. This is prime real estate. This was a very specific bit of land that was included in the 40 acres and a mule deal. The plots were specifically marked for formerly enslaved people, and it was considered payment or reparations for the service of over 200,000 black soldiers who fought for the Union to defeat the Confederacy. So this was a deal specifically just for black people. White people need not apply. And it was the one that was killed. Finally, we have the Southern Homestead Act of 1866. This came after 40 acres and a mule was killed because we had a major problem in the American South with tenement farmers and sharecroppers. There was deep, deep poverty in the South after the Civil War. Now, this was signed by Johnson sort of in an attempt to replace the 40 acres and a mule, but of course, it included white people. It focused on land in the South here in Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and a bit of Florida. It was for newly freed men and white people who fought for the Union, no Confederates. It was supposed to help bring people up out of poverty. There were 28,000 claims by white people and only 6,500 claims by newly freed black people. Why? Well, because white Southerners sabotaged the program. They didn't even tell people that it existed. If you're a plantation owner and you've got these newly freed, formerly enslaved people working your land for peanuts, pennies on the dollar, these poor sharecroppers are trapped, are you really going to tell them, hey, there's free land over in Mississippi, why don't you leave me and go start your own farm? No, of course not. They didn't even tell people the programs were happening. They were intimidating people, harassing people, unaliving people, making their lives completely miserable, and sabotage this program for the newly freed sharecroppers that were trapped in this cycle of poverty. It was deliberate. This wasn't even the prime real estate, the good farming land, the beautiful land along the coast. This was swamps and bayous and forests. If you're a poor sharecropper, what do you know about clearing forests and building infrastructure to even get you into some of these places? So the Southern Homestead Act of 1866 was wildly unsuccessful. It disproportionately helped white people and not black people. It was too little too late for reparations, and it was destroyed by racist white Southerners who made it their business to ruin this program and keep black people in the cycle of poverty. So the Homestead Acts contributed to this period in American expansion that we always romanticize.
Notice how she keeps showing you. This is very skillfully done. She keeps showing you true history, and then over there on the left, you see the enchantment, the programming that was on television in the late 70s, in the early 70s. I'm going to show you this. This is how they reprogrammed everyone's mind. Look how nice and innocent all these so-called white people are, yet right here on the left is the truth of what they've always been, who they've always been, and what they've always done.
The California Gold Rush and the pioneers and Little House on the Prairie and all that stuff. But honestly, it was a dark moment in American history. It was a huge welfare program that disproportionately helped white people instead of the people who truly needed help. It displaced Native people and was not nearly as glamorous as we're led to believe. The people who did succeed literally made huts out of mud and manure. And the Homestead Acts had repercussions for generations. If your family is given 640 acres of prime real estate, that is generational wealth for you and the people that come after you. 93 million Americans are still benefiting from that. So we have this narrative of pick yourself up by the bootstraps, but it's a hell of a lot easier if you're...
Okay. So hold on. Let me come back to this.
Leave it to Beaver.
I'm going to come back to that, but I want to go to here. Look, so this is what I want to show you Little House on the Prairie. I cannot tell you how many times I watched this as a child, 3 years old. I remember sitting on the floor in our trailer at nighttime in front of this little tiny TV, little bitty TV, the size of a fucking microwave, if even that big. And this fucking movie would come on, and this is the programming. This is just one television show showing you how beautiful, how innocent, the music of white people, when in fact they are the thieves, and they are the Edomites, and they're the border of wickedness. Listen to the music. Oh, so beautiful. It was 1975. I was 4 years old. I was 4 fucking years old in 1975, and the trumpet, the way it sounds with the violins and the vast greenery, and you see these little white children in dresses running, tumbling, so sweet, so innocent. It's all bullshit. We're just smiling. Oh, we're so innocent. We're such good people. Oh, look at us. Aren't we so beautiful? Aren't we so nice? Meanwhile, what were they doing? What were they doing to the Hebrew Israelites? Dude, to the Israelites, the God's chosen people of the Bible. See, but we didn't know this in the 70s. We didn't have the internet in the 70s. Bro, there was a handful of channels on television in the 70s. You sat down and you got programmed by these television shows and by what was in the newspaper and the magazines. That was the internet in this time. And this is what had the minds of everybody, you guys. Look, The scene coming up was one of the cutest scenes I ever watched. The little baby that falls over. Oh, so cute. Such delicate, tender Edomites. Oh, white people. Don't you just love white people? They're so innocent and pure. Watch the scene coming up. And her hair's just blowing in the wind. Oh, so innocent, so pure. They deserve to have slaves. So you got to remember the typecasting, right? The typecasting of this dude right here. He's such a wholesome. His character. He's the safe white man, right? He's the gentle. He's the loving white man. So they're on the. You got to remember, there's no internet. There's not millions of TV. There's not millions of television shows. There's a handful, bro. You could turn the knob on the TV, and those were your channels. 12 channels, and all of them were not going at the same time. There was a handful of TV shows, you guys, in the 70s. And so you got this dude, and he's on the TV for 6 fucking years, right? Then it jumps to this. They make him an angel.
If you're looking to spruce up the outside of your house,
they make him an angel. They make him an angel, and this is called Highway to Heaven. And he's like this angelic figure. So now he's been in the minds of everybody from being the wholesome white man in Little House on the Prairie. Oh, how neat. And then they put him in this show. Very intelligent what they're doing because they understand he has a certain image. So they keep playing on that image of this. Dude, I grew up believing that this dude was a man of God, bro, because of this fucking TV show. Meanwhile, what was happening in 1984 to 1989? The fucking crack epidemic. The same fucking race of people were putting crack cocaine into our neighborhoods, accusing us of being crack babies and crack dealers and thugs, while they were flooding our neighborhoods with a fucking controlled substance that they created in their fucking laboratories, right? And putting images of crack babies on fucking the national news while this was airing simultaneously. See that? Let's do it. Let's find it. When I said
the crack epidemic mainly affected the United States during the 1980s and early 1990s, beginning with a surge in crack cocaine use in cities around 1984 and 1985.
Okay, you see it, right? When did this come out? You see the time. It's the same race of people, you guys. This is all done on purpose. He's a man of God. They got the violins going. He's running off of the fumes of when he was in Little House on the Prairie. At the same time, we just saw right what happened right here, right, with what they were doing. The truth of what they were doing, we saw here. Then with the television, what they start doing, they start making themselves look good, right? Look at this shit. Look, it goes back as far as fucking Leave It to Beaver. Let's look at Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver.
When did Leave It to Beaver come out? Let's get the. Okay, Leave It to Beaver, season 1. 1957 to 1958, okay? So the first season aired between those 2 years. Let's do this. Look what I said.
The civil rights climate from 1957 to 1958 was a time of intense conflict. There was Southern resistance to integration, like the Little Rock Crisis, along with the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Activists also formed organized nonviolent resistance and pushed for voting rights and school desegregation.
We couldn't even fucking vote. Not that that matters. We're not supposed to vote. We're supposed to be praying, like it says in 1 Kings chapter 8, facing the east with our hands raised, crying out upon the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai for him to deliver us from our enemies. But this is what's happening in 1957 and 58. And who is it with? It's with the people you see right here. It's with these fucking people. These are the people that we're struggling against.
Leave It to Beaver. Starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont, Tony Dow, and Jerry Mathers as the... Leave It to Beaver. Starring Barbara Billingsley, Hugh Beaumont.
And these images are done on purpose, and the music's done on purpose. Oh, golly, Wally. Gee, Beeve, there's no cussing. They're hyper, overly nice and sweet. They're just, oh, gosh darn it. They're just wholesome, right? They're so fucking wholesome. You got Renaissance Western Christianity with white Jesus and pictures of white God, and you got the Ten Commandments coming out with all these images of Edomite they have painted themselves in the law. What does it say? What does it say they did? And remember, this entire time we have been at war with these people. Well, it's been a one-sided war. They've just been committing violence against us. The heathen sought to paint. Look, they've been doing this since the fucking Grecian Empire. First Maccabees 3:48, and they laid open the books of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their image. They wanted to put themselves in our position. And then Job 9:24. Look, Job, this is sick, man. This is a major deal. Job 9:20. This goes into your controversy of Zion. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and we know that the wicked is the Edomites. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he, and who is the wicked? Malachi. They shall call them the border of wickedness. And who's the border of wickedness? Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. That's Malachi 1-4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they, talking about the elect, shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. He hates these fucking people. All they have done is fucking, this is all lies, bro. This is reality. And this is what they show you on TV.
Beaumont.
And they're the only race of people on planet Earth that got to do this shit. You didn't get images of Chinese people shoved down your throat, all wholesome and holy. You didn't get images of Hamites, Africans, all wholesome and holy. You didn't get images of Middle Eastern people, motherfucking Ishmael, all wholesome and holy. It was only these bastards. And yet they went all over the fucking earth, causing havoc, enslaving, raping, robbing, murdering. And these are the images they gave you when this, if all you got to do is look up a movie, see what time it came out, and then pull up secular news. And you will see a consistence of overly righteous, fucking wholesome Edomite white images. And then you will see them doing some kind of war in the earth, in the United States, or around the world. Dude, the CIA, Hollywood fucking media propaganda fucking tool, that's what it is. It's a weapon. All they use it for, dude, is to make themselves look good when this is the fucking reality, bro.
Jules Beaumont. Tony Dow. And Jerry Mathers. And Jerry Mathers. And Jerry Mathers. And Jerry Mathers. And Jerry Mathers as the Beaver. As the Beaver.
So fucking wholesome, huh? Look at this. Touched by an angel.
Touched by an Angel. 10 weird facts about the cast you didn't know. 10. Roma Downey, Monica, had never played an angel before and was
First off, she's an Edomite. Second, she's a fucking woman. It's completely off.
so convincing that people often approached her for real spiritual advice. 9. Della Reese, Tess, was an ordained minister in real life.
And how could she be an ordained minister when the flock of his it's men are the flock of his pasture? Let the Lord set a man, let Yahweh set a man over the congregation. Yahweh Shai prayed all night and chose 12 men to be his disciples. When the scriptures tell you, I do not suffer a woman to teach, nor usurp the authority of a man. And of course, it's an Eve, it's an NW. Of course, yeah.
And sometimes prayed with the cast and crew before emotional scenes.
So who are you praying to? You're on the left-handed propaganda fucking machine. The beauty of the daughter of the Chaldeans. Who are you praying to? It's all bullshit, you guys.
8. John Dye, Andrew, originally auditioned for another role, but producers liked his calm presence so much they created the Angel of Death character just for him. 7. Downey and Reese became best friends off-screen, and Reese later officiated Downey's wedding. 6. Della Reese suffered a near-fatal brain aneurysm during the show's run and credited her faith in the show's message for her recovery. 5.
She credited her faith in the show's message, which is what? Edomite female angels. You see how the words faith, message, she credited her faith. Dude, this is all based on what? When you wander out of the congregate, when you wander out of the understanding, you are in the congregation of the dead. Dude, this is all a result of the sleepy, gross darkness of the nation. When people would see this and they would just be like, oh, it's so good. I know all these shows because my nana used to watch these fucking shows, bro. And my nana was a big time Christian. You know what I'm saying? I believe she had a genuine love for the Son of the Most High. She was just completely Renaissance Western Christianity'd out. But I used to watch all these shows, bro.
Producers considered canceling the show after season 1, but a massive fan letter campaign saved it and turned it into a long-running hit. 4. John Dye struggled emotionally with playing the Angel of Death, and often said it was both his most beautiful and hardest role. 3. Downey used her own Irish accent for the role, but softened it slightly to sound more universally comforting. 2. The show was...
But it's not about a universal, because the Most High, right, is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is the God of Yasharallah, the God of Israel. It's not about him trimming his ways to seek love, right?
Often filmed out of sequence, and cast members had to keep emotional continuity by tracking each episode's moral arc. 1. Guest stars often said filming was a spiritual experience.
Let's get another one. Let's get another one. Let's do the Ten Commandments. Let's do the Ten Commandments. Watch. Let me see.
The 10 Commandments.
Okay. That's what I was looking for. Okay?
Zen Cheek is on the biggest end season sale. Right now, you can pay one, get 3.
This is what I was looking for, all right? So look. Moses. Okay, so okay. You see what you see. You see all the whitewashing, right? Everything that Job said they would do. When did this movie come out? Let's find that out. So, oh my God.
The movie The Ten Commandments was produced and released in 1956, although filming occurred in 1954 and 1955. It premiered in New York on November 8th, 1956.
And it's a classic. I love it to this day, but it's wrong. It's done wrong because it uses Edomite characters to portray the Hebrew Israelites, and it uses Edomite characters to portray the Hamites. So this is the whole reason why they did this. They did this to put that Edomite image in your mind of history, of anything great in history. And what was going on in 1957? Let's go back. What? I'm only saying civil rights because...
In 1957, the civil rights movement grew with the founding of the SCLC, the Civil Rights Act of 1957, which focused on voting rights, and the Little Rock Crisis, federal troops and forced school integration, showing growing federal involvement against Southern resistance.
What was the...
The Little Rock Crisis in 1957 involved 9 black students, known as the Little Rock Nine, trying to integrate Little Rock Central High School. The state governor, Orval Faubus, used the National Guard to stop them, but President Eisenhower sent in federal troops to ensure their integration.
See, and that's where we went wrong, the reverse psychology of us thinking that we need to be next to them, we need to be with them, right? When the scriptures say, envy not the heathen and learn not of his ways, we're supposed to be separated from them. But you can see what was going on with our people and their people when this classic was being released into the earth, which was what? It was an enchantment because it told you that Moses, who is from the tribe of Levi, and we know that the Levites are the Haitians today, it told you he was a fucking Edomite. This is what's fucked up about all this shit, man. This race of people.
You too shall go to Goshen.
This race of people. I don't want to get a fucking copyright. It's really awesome when you look up these videos, you look up these movies and what these motherfuckers were doing through Hollywood and the media, and then you pull up the news and the racial climate in that same time, and you see two completely different fucking things, man. And it's the same goddamn devil that's doing all this shit. So I just wanted to do this. I wanted to show this, man. I wanted to show these parallels. And look, what does the scripture say? Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself. Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself. We got to pull it, and then I'm going to pull, this is Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. And let's get the man of sin. He's the man of sin, you guys. The man of sin. The man of sin. Because there's no other race of people that has gone this way, this far out to fucking lie and deceive. 2 Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, that's 70 AD, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. It's talking about Esau, Edom. They are the nation, the border of wickedness is the son of perdition, is the man of sin. It's the same thing. It's, look, the dragon, to deceive the whole world. Let me see. To deceive the whole world. How do you think they did that? Through the media, through their propaganda, through their education system, through the whitewashing of everything. This is talking about them. Revelations 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent and the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. That's not talking about Satan on the left-hand side, you guys. Though he did help Esau do it, he was cast to the earth and his angels were cast out. This is talking about the war of heaven. This is talking about the race of people that Satan used to deceive the whole world. This is why everybody thinks that Yahushai's name is Jesus. This is why everybody thinks that Yahushai is an Edomite, a so-called white man, because of this race of people, not because of the prince demon Satan. It's because of the so-called fucking white man, because of all this shit. This is what they did, man. They changed the color to everything. And this is perfect. This is a perfect example. These motherfuckers, why are they telling you about themselves being God's chosen people when at the same time, when you look up at the history, they're doing all kind of fuck shit, bro. You can't be both, dude. You can't be both. You got to be one or the other, man. And they fit all the prophecies that line up with fucking the seven-headed dragon, Esau, Edom, deceiving the whole world, being the man of sin, the son of perdition. They're the only fucking race of people who had the ability and the capacity to lie to the entire planet the way that they did, and it's them. This is why there's so much shit coming out about them on fucking TikTok. Okay? So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakakadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone of whom I learned from, and Shalom. To the hopefully elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.